Hello students of class 8. Today we are going to do the chapter The Self-Made Man from your Bliss book. This is the first chapter and that is we are going to do for the first unit, from the first unit syllabus, and the second chapter will be standing on your problems. So this chapter, The Self-Made Man, is about determination. Determination means your will, or when you decide on something very firmly. That is your decision to, you have a goal in your mind and you are completely, resolved, or you have decided that you will reach your goal no matter how many problems come in your way. And we find that the person that we are going to read about is Abraham Lincoln. You have already read about Abraham Lincoln in your class 7 Bliss book, that is Lincoln and the Dying Soldier. Now today we are once again going to read about Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was born in a log cabin on his father's farm on 12th of February 1809. His mother died when he was only 9 years of age. He was a happy child. Lincoln grew to be a tall, gangling youth and showed great intellectual promise. He had little formal education. He attended school for less than a year altogether, but taught himself to read and write and to do simple arithmetic. So we find that he was born in a log cabin. That is, we can understand that log cabin means a small wooden cabin. That is, he came from a very poor family on his father's farm. And his mother also died at a very young age. But even though he was poor, he was always very happy. And he was, a tall and skinny person. Gangling means lanky, as you call it, skinny, thin person, and showed great intellectual promise. So even though he was poor and he lost his mother, he had the spirit in himself, and he was a very intelligent person. He had little formal education. Formal education means, he didn't have much of schooling or much of that education that, children get in general. That is, formal education means school, then college, then university, in that way. So he didn't have that, what should I say, that economic freedom to, attend school in that way. He had little formal education. He attended school for less than a year. His family, condition was such, he couldn't go to school even for a whole year. But he taught himself to read and write. But on his own effort, he learned to read and write and to do simple arithmetic. Whatever knowledge he got from the school, and apart from that, on his own initiative, he gave his own effort to, make himself educated, to teach himself how to read, write, and do simple arithmetic. In 1831, Lincoln struck out on his own. Lincoln struck out on his own means he dropped out of school, taking a cargo on a flatboat to New Orleans. So he took a boat and he went to New Orleans. Then in New Salem, he split rails and worked in a shop. Split rails means, wooden rails which are split lengthwise. So that is splitting of, that means, he engaged himself in every kind of, odd jobs, as we call it, to get some money, so that he can earn a living for himself. He gained the respect of his fellow townspeople and was elected captain of his company in the Black Hawk War. So he was a very hardworking and a very intelligent person. So people, understood his his intelligence and his knowledge very easily, and he had that leadership qualities in him. So he was elected the captain, and he became the captain of his company in the Black Hawk War. So he joined. Now in this Black Hawk War, he actually served as a volunteer. He was not directly involved in this war. After the war ended, after returning for the war, he ventured into various other jobs and finally able to pay off his debts. He had debts means when you owe money, when you borrow money from somebody, and you have to till the time you return that money, you are in debt. So first of all, he he went to New Orleans and split rails and did that kind of a work, and then he was elected the captain, and he joined as a volunteer in that Black Hawk War. And after returning, he again engaged himself in some more ventured means we use the word venture, that is when we do some work which includes certain danger, or you need to be quite brave. So, and that doing such work that Lincoln did showed that he was not only intelligent, not only wise, and he was also a very brave man. So ventured into other jobs. And why did he have to do these kinds of jobs? Because he had borrowed money from a lot of people which he had to pay back, and for that he needed the money. That is why he did all these kinds of jobs. At the same time, he began to study law. See, he not only paid off earned and paid off the money to people, to whom he had, from whom he had borrowed money, but he also tried to educate himself, and he studied law. After completing law, he joined politics, but was not got a great success. So he joined politics, but he could not succeed much. So in 1844, he started his own law firm and became a good and famous lawyer. So since he studied law, he started his own law firm. And then he became a very good lawyer, and he became very famous. Famous, as you know, that people came to know about him. His birth in a slave state notwithstanding means in spite of his birth in a slave state, Lincoln had long opposed to slavery, and in 1837 he protested against it. Now he was born in a slave state. In spite of being born in a slave state, he never accepted slavery. And what is the meaning of slavery? I think you must be knowing about it. Slavery means, generally the slavery began in Africa, where people, were bought by other people, the rich people, and they were treated they were treated as not as human beings, but as property machines in that way, and they were made to work under very inhuman conditions. And they were treated inhumanly. They were not treated as human beings at all. They were bound in chains, and they were not given proper food, and on top of that they were made to do very hard labor. They were beaten, cruelty to an extent. And that is how these slavery was. So Lincoln was a person who couldn't accept this fact that after all we are all human beings. Why should one man have that right to exploit the other? It means exploitation to the maximum extent. So he protested against it. So he raised his voice against it. He tried to prevent the spread of human bondage. Yes, slavery means human bondage. He continued to protest that the measures of slavery were wrong because slavery was wrong. That is, you cannot treat another person in that way. Okay, every person has the right to live, has the right to get certain basic condition. You buy these people and make them work as in any way you can. That is not done. Lincoln contested in the elections, but he lost. Yes, he lost not once but many times, but he never gave up because he knew what he had to achieve. However, the debates against slavery made him win national recognition. Yes, not only Lincoln, there were other people who also thought that slavery was, there should be, means that it should come to an end. It should be stopped. And there were people also who thought that this was wrong, just like Lincoln thought. So that is the reason. And there was a divide between the northern states and the southern states in that way. That is, one supported and the other didn't support it in that way. So he won national recognition through his speeches against slavery. In 1861, he became the president of USA. So even, he failed several times, but he didn't give up. And ultimately in 1861, he became the president of USA. So we find that it is a story from the rags to the riches. We stop here today. We'll do the rest of the chapter next day. Thank you.